Oh, sound on and vision on, and it's raining. It's properly raining out here in the woods. Perfect time to have in your head the idea that you might want to get some extra footage. To wit, I now have to juggle stuff. Movie, hit record, about the thing, try and do things with more than one hand, got the f-stops really open, and yeah, so this is what I've got. It's a little cheap run and gun rig that I wanted to test out, and I've got a hot shoe doubler. It's just a big metal plate that spreads it out so your hot shoe connector can create, well, a cold shoe because it isn't powered, but 2 accessory slots, which would give this camera 2 on the top of the camera and then 1 more, because there's a hot shoe-ish, a pretend hot shoe on the top. So that could mean a monitor and a light and a mic, with the added possibility of possibly being able to add 1 in the middle, so you could have 4. I've been trying to think of what you might have for 4, but you might want an additional light, and I've got a few bits of camera equipment this month, possibly all I can really justify buying for a bit. So this little run and gun rig was under £10, and let's at least give it a fair shake. So it's got like a foam grip on the top. I'm going to try and see whether holding it steady or holding it tight, how much does your arm compensate for the movement. So I'll be cutting in with some video about here. Yeah, it's not ideal. It is properly raining. Not super heavy. It's Manchestering. So let's just. I'm just gonna see if I can get some pan shots. Obviously, it's not going to be as good as a gimbal. And the focusing might be out, and it's raining on my camera, which is not good. Spring is a better time to do these shots in the rain. And now I'm gonna overlay a walk down the bridge. Basically, one of these is going to be steady. So I'm going to walk down to the bridge, trying to frame the shot. Don't have to worry about the gimbal. It's easily the best piece of equipment I've got in the last while, which is entirely thanks to you guys. I'm going to stop in the middle of the bridge in a second, and with both cameras I'm going to overlay. I'm going to show both. I'm going to get a pan across the river, see if it's reasonably steady. So, but that's with me trying to do 2 cameras at once. Let's see. And this is why you have tripods, people. Yeah. There's me making a humming sound to make up for the fact that these cameras are silent. So yeah, that's all I'm going to do. Stop that. Because what I want to do is tonight, in a separate video, because I like you guys to have stuff, I can create a render thing. So let's I'm put my woolly hat over the DSLR because they're a bit expensive. Well, these ones aren't. So yeah, so one of the Kulture things I'm going to do is some very basic videography stuff. You know, maybe even just some kit reviews and some, like, you know, this is what I've learned. But I tell you, I'm really spoilt with this gimbal and the infinite focus. Don't have to do focus. I don't have to sort out audio. It's all done by this rig, which is ace. All I've got to do is find something interesting to say, and that is indeed the tricky bit. And it doesn't always work. So yeah, so trying out some rigs. You know, different horses for different courses, because it has to be said, no one camera, you know, is going to be ideal for every situation. Or, you know, as yet, no camera without some kind of, you know, conversant AI, you know, is going to be ideal. Until we get like an AI driven camera that will hover above you, that you can give voice instructions to, or set up programming for. And I bet that's coming. I mean, you look at drones and stuff. A camera that would follow you, a camera that would track your eyes, a camera with variable focal depth so you can have a blurry background, a camera that will work in low light conditions, a camera that does perfect sound recording. Yeah, you get the picture. So it's possibly not going to happen in my lifetime. And once it does, you'll need people. If it's that clever, you won't need a person to interact with the camera at all. In fact, if it's that smart, it'll go away and find things that are worth filming. So yeah, this is the problem with video. And I guess it's also probably the problem with making music, or doing anything that you're doing with as many variables involved. So yeah, what a thing. So yeah, there is always more camera kit to buy. I try to be discerning. I try to make sure that what I get is going to do something new or have some benefit. Like the EOS M. You know, I could have spent, given that the package that I got cost 100 quid, thank you very much to Uncle Doris for mentioning it to me. But yeah, so, you know, 70 quid of that would have been buying a 7 Artisans lens, and another 20 quid of that would possibly be buying a 64 gig SD card. You know, so camera really was almost free in comparison if I'd known how much fun the 7 Artisans lens would be. However, it's not autofocus on that lens, so setting it up for static-ish shots can be tricky. You need a wide enough frame of focus, and you need to be paying attention to that focus. You know, so a run and gun rig, ideally you want like an infinite focus field. So, you know, you're not going to get that without constantly paying attention, or having a camera that had the kind of autofocus where you basically didn't need an operator and it can make those decisions. But as a camera operator, you're always making decisions about focal depth, audio, you know, general placement and framing. See, I'm trying to do this. That's framing. I don't do very much of it. The path goes along the middle of the screen and you're wondering, that little monkey bit of your brain is going, oh, what's down there? But you know what's down there because I take this walk nearly every day. So yeah, cameras is just an infinite thing. It's not going to make you a better filmmaker to have a better camera. It's just going to take some of the chores out of it, and it might make certain shots that you couldn't do beforehand, you know, possible. So yes, so I might well be mounting 2 lights on the camera tonight and seeing if you can walk around in the woods and actually film anything in any worthwhile detail. So yeah, let's see what that does. So I might mount up the 50mm lens just to give me a bit more of an edge. But then when you set it to f1.8, you know, you've got to be playing with focus all the time. we'll see. Maybe that's for another night. I might just leave the kit lens on at its widest f-stop, and yeah, just do that. But we'll see what, if you ignore the focus and we look at the steadiness of it, you know, the Steadicam rig is out there. So the editing and rendering of this video might need to wait till later. How about I don't faff you with 2 videos, or I might do. I might get this rendered and edited. So what's been going on in the world today? So in the good stuff, the Kulture YouTube channel is there. It's called the Kulture. I've used, as well as I can, Direct Currents graphic. Also did the Urban Agoge one, so thank you very much to Direct Current. And I know I haven't used it much, and I've been trying to set up. There is now also a Twitter at the Kulture node. There's nothing on it yet, so if you have anything relevant, or you know, you can subscribe to that. So the Kulture at Twitter, you can get in there, and the Kulture YouTube channel, so you can get in early and get a notification, like and subscribe. There will probably still be Urban Agoge stuff. I'll be doing a slightly different vlog, and I'll be using the mobile rig, this rig, to, you know, if I'm going specifically to an event. Specifically Graffin's film shoot. I'm hoping to have Roma, you know, runabout camera stuff, maybe some behind the scenes thing if we're not too busy. See if I can put a vlog together of that, but that won't be out till May, because obviously a behind the scenes vlog would give away the story, and there may be people that will, you know, aspire to be going to Confuzzle this year. I don't want to spoil the plot of the special movie they're making for it. So that's Saturday week. Today is Wednesday. Happy birthday to Wriggly Table Bambibot, who's a member of our Discord on Rangers stroke Urban Agoge. I think she's only on Rangers. So happy birthday, and happy birthday to anybody whose birthday I've missed, because your handles have changed. So yeah, and it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago. Oh, maybe 3 weeks ago. So I'm in my 50th year on the planet. I'm 49. So this is year 50 since the time of my birth in 1971. And what will I do in year 50? The beginning. So yeah. So hopefully the Kulture will get off the ground. And that's where I'm going to need you guys, or you people, or you humans, since apparently guys is contested in some area. But guys is a derogatory term. You know, a guy is a mannequin made up to look like a person. So, you know, it's like calling someone, yo, meat puppets. I like bacteria mecca, since there's every chance that the bacterial cells that do not carry your DNA in your body are piloting you to do the right thing, and your decisions are all based on that. Yeah, there's a thought. Maybe that's what we find out in the afterlife. Well done, meat puppet. We drove you around, you functioned, you gave us, you know, all the nutrients we needed, and propagated our bacterial species. We're just never going to know. Oh, it is probably quite cold out here because my fingers have gone slightly numb. So yeah, I'm not going over the little brook today because it is raining, and it has been for some time. That would be foolish. So yeah, so the Kulture is up and running. There is a Kulture, yeah, and there's a Kulture Snapchat account. It's just I have no idea yet as to what to do with Snapchat. You know, Twitter is probably easier. There is a temptation to put a Facebook page together for the Kulture, and yeah, that I would like your feedback on. Personally, I think Facebook is evil, and people use it for evil. It is one of those rare inventions that adds absolutely nothing to the human experience. People posting images of their fucking lunch. People using it to sidestep actual interaction with humans. I bloody hate it. I really hate it. I don't like having a Facebook account. Sometimes you can't avoid it, but I don't have to like it. And you know, the Facebook account isn't even in my name, it's a fake name. I just, you know, there's blatantly telling people what you're up to. I mean, I've even seen people take a sick day off work after telling the company that they work for what their Facebook address is, yeah? And then on their Facebook account putting things like lol, threw a sickie today, out having lunch with my friends. You know, if you hire someone as dumb as this, you should have every right to fire their ass. You know, or Instagramming what they had for lunch at a nice cafe while they're off sick. You know, or having Facebook conversations with people they're flirting with while they're in another relationship. You know, in public mode. People are fucking stupid. But hey, that's what the Kulture's about. Let's find all the smart ones. That is indeed what the Kulture is about. Because people be heinous, yo. I'm not a fan. I want to find that 1 or 2% of people that are intelligent enough to invent something new, or make something, or come up with a new viewpoint on life, or create some fucking art. I don't want the consumers, I want the makers. I want the people capable of constructing useful stuff to be on my team. Speaking of constructing useful stuff, you know, the UK has just announced that it's going to pretty much close its borders to unskilled people that don't speak good enough English. Now, I know on the surface of it that looks like a yeah right, that's probably a good idea type thing, but it's going to cripple UK industry. You know, it's the stupidest thing, and it's hateful and racist and given into sort of small-minded bigots. If you are a small-minded bigot, please feel free to never sign up to anything that the Kulture does. We can live without you. So yeah, so a lot of industries are going to fall over. England is going to go through another recession, which is why we need the Kulture even more. We need to buy an island. You know, even if all we achieve on that island is showing people how you can actually run things off grid and give away that knowledge for free. Maybe sell a book or two or a DVD. Things like that. Yeah, so along with that, and along with deporting people that came over with the Windrush ships in the 1950s and 60s and have worked here and paid taxes here for their adult lives basically, and they're being deported for any infringement of the law, the sort of thing where, you know, a white person, and there's no other way to put that, would just, you know, get a slap on the wrist. So the fascism has begun. And fascism is, you know, I'm not going to say the word Nazi because it wouldn't be accurate. Nazi is not accurate. Fascist is. And you know what the sickening thing about the fascism is? The people that are instituting these rules, they're not racist particularly. They're just doing it to manipulate stupid people, so they get the support of idiots. That's the crying shame. It's to impress people too stupid to really have a good think about the consequences of doing such a thing. It doesn't make economic sense. It doesn't make international relations sense. You know, all it does this ticker box in the mind of a person that has basically said to themselves, I know everything I need to know now. I don't need to learn anything more for the rest of my life. Non-book reading motherfuckers. There's no other way of putting it. Stupid people, unfortunately, are allowed to vote. They don't even have to understand what they're voting for. They don't even have to demonstrate that they understand the issue upon which they're voting. Hence, if you didn't know the statistic, but it's one that is pretty depressing, is that the most searched thing on Google in the UK after the referendum for Brexit, and this fills me with rage enough, almost a murderous rage, is what is the EU? People voted on it. It doesn't matter which way they voted. But then the next day after they voted, bearing in mind, it's not like they had to make an appointment to find out this information. This information was available on their phones. They could have even done a search on it as they were walking to vote. The thing that has stopped war in Europe for 70 years, the European Union, they knew nothing about it. And all this fascism that's going on in the UK. I haven't even done a picture of me today. There we go. Can't wear my hat. It's on the camera. Yeah. So all this right-wing horror that you can see the start issues of, all this like proto-fascism. Yeah. All this is because people are too stupid and thoughtless to look up what is the EU before they vote. So if you figured out what the EU was and you're somehow magically watching a fairly, liberal sort of person spout into the internet and you've stumbled across this, if you looked up what the EU was after you voted, then you're scum. You are irredeemable scum. I don't know what you can do to, when the UK economy crashes into the sea, how you deserve to fully reflect on that. That's what a hateful thing to do. You must have seen something about the EU. You must have seen the fact that people had a lot of problems with the idea of splitting away from the European Union rather than maybe reforming it, because reformation doesn't make headlines. So what? Why? Something like 10 million Google searches on what is the EU after the vote. You shouldn't trust politicians who have deals with billionaires, basically, because billionaires are only interested in becoming multi-billionaires, and they will vote against the interest of the common working person. And every time there is a fascist uprising or a religious, fundamentalist uprising, it's always thought out by somebody that can make a profit from it, and always uses up the lives of the very poorest. And but my problem with it now is, there's no reason for a poor person to be uneducated. You have the internet, it's dirt cheap, costs you a couple of quid a day to access it, and you have all the information in the world. So maybe don't watch a rerun of EastEnders or Home and Away or Coronation Street, and actually find out what's going on in the world, being a bit better educated. Because these days, unless you don't have internet access, in which case you're not watching me. But if you're capable of watching me spat off into the internet, go and watch something actually informative instead. Learn about the world that you're in before you feel that you've got the right to basically screw over everybody else on behalf of the most despicable people on earth. So yeah, think about that. That really makes me angry. And now we've got lockdown of our borders, which is just going to destroy all the economic trade that we've enjoyed for the past 70 years. So yeah, go do that. It's just hateful. Anyway, on that happy note, thanks for watching, do take care, and where am I going? Who's coming with me? And never mix up the order in which you ask that question or those questions. Have fun. See you later.